What I've decided is I'm not going to actually use any more frozen vegetables, just in case you want to use fresh vegetables. I have some here, so I might as well use it. So I'm going to show you in a bit how I steam up the fresh vegetables. The potatoes are pretty much done. They've been boiling for a little while. And I'll show you how I know that they're done. Basically, what I do is I take a fork and I push it up against one of the potatoes. And if it easily breaks through, like it just did, or let's try it again, easily breaks through with a different one, then I know it's done. If I have to keep jamming it, it's definitely not done. But just easily just breaks through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain that out and then mash them up. Okay, so I've strained them out, and what you're left with is just potatoes with no water. There might be a little bit of water in the bottom. That's fine. Don't worry about it. How I mash these up is I put a little bit of milk in the bottom. I have almond milk here. I just think it's healthier, but whatever milk you want, it's fine. Put a little bit in the bottom. I'm not telling you how much because I don't know, frankly. So the thing is, you can always add more. If they're looking dry, you can always add more. You can't really take any out. So that's why I say a little. So basically what I'm doing is taking a fork and just pressing it up against one of the walls of the pot. And you're going to get, well, mashed potatoes. And what you can do, if you want to, I don't usually do this, but to make them creamier, to make them taste better, you can put a little bit of butter or margarine in there. Don't go overboard, because all margarine and butter is just fat. So don't go overboard, but a little bit's not going to hurt you. Once you've done this for, I don't know, it's really whatever consistency you want it at. I don't really like a whole lot of chunks, but I'm not gonna stay here all day, you know, mashing it up. So I've got it pretty much the consistency I wanted at. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of our dishes that we had before with the vegetables in it. I'm going to add some mashed potatoes to it. So you want to cover the top with these mashed potatoes. Just make sure you can't see any more vegetable. It doesn't have to be super thick layer, it just has to be about a third of your meal, so just enough to cover all the vegetables on top. And basically that's one meal. You do that for the next two. Put the vegetables in, put the mashed potatoes on, and you get a whole bunch of these. So I'm just putting the excess mashed potato into a Tupperware container so that we can use it later and we can cover up our next meals. I'm going to wash this up and then fill it with, halfway with water, and you guys can see how I make these steamed vegetables. I put a little bit of water at the bottom. It's about a little less than halfway filled. We don't really need a lot of water since that we're only going to steam the vegetables. So vegetables aren't actually going to be in the water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my vegetables into a colander, a strainer, whatever you want to call it. The thing with, like, the reason I'm using a strainer and not an actual steamer is not because it's better, it's just because I don't have a steamer. As long as it's out of the water and steam can get at the vegetables, you're fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in here. Doesn't have to be boiling yet. But I'm going to stick it in there, put the pot on top. Doesn't really fit because of the strainer, but as long as you're keeping as much moisture in there as possible, you should be fine. Alright, so I've been gone for about 3 minutes. It started boiling. You can see the steam arising. Maybe you can't, but whatever. Steam arises from the pot. And what I love about steaming is, it's not done yet, but I'm just going to make a little interlude. What I love about steaming is, like, you see how green it is? that means that all of the nutrients is left in the vegetable. All steaming does is make it a little bit softer and make it easier to digest. So steaming, definitely better than boiling. If you're going to try and break down your vegetables so that they're not raw. Another thing is, it doesn't really matter if the vegetables on this dish are raw. Like, that's not a huge deal. If they are raw, it's going to be a bit crunchy. I just like pretty much the entire meal to be the same consistency. So when I'm chewing through it, when I stick my fork in, I know I'm not going to be going through and hit, oh, there's broccoli. That's really hard broccoli. You know, like it all the same consistency. Hey, it's been about, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes. So what I've got is vegetables. Now, for beans, you know that they're done and that they're going to be soft when you eat a meal, when you take it out of the microwave when you're ready to eat it. You know it's still going to be soft if you can bend it and break it without it snapping. So if it slowly bends and then starts to break, it's done. If it snaps, you know it needs to be in for longer. Same with broccoli. If you can bend it and it doesn't make that snapping sound, if it's kind of easy to bend and easy to break, you know it's done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of these vegetables on my meals. Kind of hot. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to use some of that sweet potato mash that we made earlier. Stick that on. Do it really quick. This really doesn't have to be a long process. It's, you know, you don't have to be perfect at any of this. As long as it gets together, it's going to taste the same. It's going to taste good. And it's going to be a quick meal when you're hungry. So, kind of cover up all the vegetables with it. Stick a lid on both of them. And, dare I say, there you have it. So, now I've got meals. I made a few before this video. Now I've got meals for, you know, the next 2, 3, 4 days. So there you have it. Stick that in your fridge and stick it in the microwave for 2 minutes. And you got yourself a homemade TV dinner. That's super healthy. So I'll come back and show you how I make some of my other meals. But for right now, that's it. See you later.